Worldwide Hippies presents Hippie News and Stuff with Winston Smith and the Worldwide Hippies News Team.
Welcome to Hippie TV News and Stuff for the week of January 17th. Brought to you by worldwidehippies.com, citizen journalism on the web. I am Winston Smith. Don't piss on my back and call me a Taliban. The doc's gone soft. Don't believe in magic? You soon will. David Banks, sterilized crime fighter. Hippie goes native from Croft. Mikel K. Minuet. Hippie says keep your horse in the barn. Our asshole of the week and more. Top story, Afghanistan. Good news, bad news. Which first? You decide. All those who want the good news? How about those who want the bad news? Once again, those who want the good news? Those who want to hear the bad news? Hey, CNN does it. It's supposed to be good for my ratings. So you all want to hear the good news first? Okay, here's the bad news. Video of some pissed off Marines urinating on a few assassinated civilians was released onto the internet last week without permission from the Ministry of Truth. As expected, the military went into damage control mode, saying it's investigating the video that appears to show Marines desecrating the corpses of Taliban fighters killed in Afghanistan. A Marine spokeswoman told reporters that officials haven't been able to verify whether the people shown in the video are actually Marines. After all, the enemy is everywhere, he's sophisticated and doesn't fight fair. They could have made that video themselves and photoshopped in the images of those Marines. Never mind that the average Taliban fighter can't even read. She went on to say their actions were not indicative of the character of the Marines in our Corps. And without having more video showing before and after the short video, it's easy for one to take things out of context. That it is more plausible that after a fierce battle and firefight, these valiant warriors were just taking a break and relieving themselves when the three blood-covered bodies just fell from the sky. In which case, that's an act of Allah, and you will have to take it up with him, she said. Taliban spokesperson said,
मौलवी उमर बैतुल्लाह महसूद का खासम खास रहा है और उसने बैतुल्लाह महसूद की मौत पर लगा दी है मुहर.
Translation? No big deal. They're not our guys. We didn't drop them there. Besides, we have no planes and we can't read. Do you have a cigarette? Now, the good news. While the rest of the planet is in the grip of a huge recession, the Afghan economy is fucking booming. The price of Afghan opium rose dramatically in 2011, a significant part of the Afghan economy. The value of the opium yield rose 133% from 2010. After word got out that the U.S. forces and private contractors will be staying in Afghanistan and not leaving soon, confident that the smuggling routes will be protected and private contractors will be able to keep flying product out of the country, Afghanistan looks like a model for economic growth. Even after Hadzi Karzai takes his cut for his family and takes even more to pay his subprime mortgage on his vacation home in Martha's Vineyard, there's still enough left over to buy that little piece of swampland in Kennebunkport and give a few Afghanis back to Afghans. Note to the mainstream press, Afghanis is the currency of Afghanistan. Afghans are the people. You would think after 10 years of reporting you would know that. We'll be right back.
We want our retirement back. I want my business back.
I want my pension back.
This is Wall Street, where the investment bankers ruined our economy. Look, there's one now.
We want our home back.
I can't pay my student loans. Hey, that's him! Catch Wall Street.
Not Main Street.
Tax the 1% who ruined our economy.
I want my savings back. We need a financial transaction tax.
Pass the 1%. Ruined our economy. Heal America.
A financial transaction tax is the first step in healing America. Sign our petition at protestintheusa.org.
You stinker, you stinker. Didn't your mother tell you not to steal from little old ladies?
And we're back. Now with a hard look at soft energy, here's our own Doc.
What's up, Doc?
Hey, Winston. Thank you for the kind words. Hola, hippies, paz in el barrio, and bugs your good health as ever. About 35 years ago, a woman about my mother's age appeared at my newspaper desk in Santa Fe with a disturbing tale about the coming, inevitable changes which loomed on the energy horizon like storms at sea. It was 1975 or 76, not long after the first gas shortage, 73, and the issue had already faded in the public mind. She told me of her son, who had a book coming out which foretold how crises in cost, price, and sustainability of our current fuel economy, which he called hard energy, would soon come to threaten the whole productive economy of the rest of the planet. The proverbial two roads diverged, she said, her son wrote in his book, and there was a clear opportunity to implement necessary reforms. The alternative, she said, was sensibly called soft energy, and her son, Amory Lovins, and his bride, Hunter, were going to be coming to New Mexico for a visit, and wouldn't I, meaning of course me, wouldn't I like to do a story about them, and it. But the gas crisis of 73 hadn't really touched me. I was a callow, know-it-all, cocky veteran, recent college graduate, world traveler, and I have to say I blew it off. I still kick myself at the recollection of that because, of course, Lovinses were absolutely correct. The path we were on was on to the path to disaster. One of the consequences of the hard energy path, which we do not usually see revealed, appeared in reports recently about the hard oil industry that was in effect threatening to blackmail brave Sir Barry and the Lady Cleanus into peremptorily approving the proposed oil slurry pipeline from the Alberta tar sands to the refineries on the Gulf, where it more easily might and more profitably might join the international flow of fungible oil supplying energy above all else, profitability to the people who own the resources to an increasingly energy ravenous world. Apparently, the decision is still on hold until after Election Day, but you can imagine how the exchange might have gone between some of the oligarchs, gunsels, and maybe some flunky from the Interior or Energy Department. Hey, you guy, over here, come here. Hey, tell your boss to approve that energy pipeline, man. Nice little deal you got going here. Damn shame if some gasoline maybe went to $7 a gallon the week before Election Day, wouldn't it? You know what I mean, boy? Well, the oligarchs, you know, are not going to abandon their monopoly until the last dollar is squeezed out of the last possible barrel of oil and fashion a new monopoly on top of it. And they won't stop drilling until they've processed every last drop. And the current economic slowdown suggests that there isn't any interest out there in the private sector for the kind of investment which could bring soft energy into the mainstream. Such are the vicissitudes of the hard energy path we're on. Amory Lovins, who with then-wife Hunter went on to found the Rocky Mountain Institute in 1976, published that book called Soft Energy Paths. Check it out at the link at the bottom of the screen. Maybe if we're very, 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 very lucky, it's not yet too late. Hell, we can even get energy from the tides at the beach, hippies. Back to you in Hippie Central, Winston.
Thanks, Doc, for that powerful lesson. Okay, meet David Banks. He's a crime fighter. Well, not really. He just wants justice, and finally he may get it. Meet Tracy Bank. She admits to being kind of slutty. While married to the aforementioned David Banks for 17 years, she had had numerous affairs, slept around with numerous men, and whatever. No crime in that, right? Well, there just might be. Seems that the state of Arizona still has adultery laws on its statute books. It is a Class 3 misdemeanor. Those convicted of breaking this law could be handed a $500 fine or even sent to prison for 30 days for each offense, in which case Tracy may be facing some serious jail time. David Banks says he spent years asking police in Glendale, Arizona to investigate his wife, but they have only just agreed to do so. He said he first suspected her when he noticed that she had used contraception even though he was sterilized. I'm fixed and we had a bunch of rubbers left over and they all disappeared. I want her prosecuted and I want my rubbers back in the condition that she found them. They got somebody that's freely admitting to their guilt. It seems to me that's a rubber stamp right through the court system, he added. Tracy Banks admits to having extramarital affairs and being kind of slutty, but she can't remember how many. Liquor will do that, but a few for sure. Mrs. Banks said that she is more amused than concerned about the possibility of being prosecuted for adultery. Everybody thinks it's funny, real funny, everybody, she said. Word to Tracy, maybe it's not David that they're laughing at. Word to David, just let it go, man. And here, making the hippie connection to Native Americans, Ed Croft.
Oh, hey, Winston. You know, the past few weeks I've been kind of going on about Native American culture, wisdom, and prophecies. And many people may be wondering, well, what does this have to do with hippies? Well, if you stop and look at it, if you take time to study Native American culture, wisdom, you may find that there are a lot of similarities in the communal aspects, especially. See, when Native Americans would go out hunting, they did things together because it was survival. When they went out and they like the Lakota went out and they got the buffalo and whatever, they would bring back the meat and they would give to the elders. They would give to the sick and the children, make sure they were taken care of, and then share amongst everybody. Now we're told, oh, that kind of stuff, that's socialist nonsense and everything, but you know, it worked for them. And if it wasn't for the white race coming along and obliterating so many, they'd probably be still going along in peace and harmony and love. And isn't that kind of what back in the 60s they were saying? Peace, love, harmony. We sang about it, we talked about it, but we didn't get there. Oh, there was a few communes here and there, and some of that worked for a while. But unfortunately, outside influences are going to be what they're going to be, and eventually they faded away. So, you know, to me, it's like we've got to change our mindset. We've got to come up with a whole new paradigm. Because what we have now, this capitalism, is not working. A small group of people up the top, they're getting all the benefit. People down here in the middle, well, they're doing most of the work. And the reward just isn't there. I mean, people are losing their homes, their jobs, everything. And then when that happens, other people, they spit on them. They tell them, hey, we want you to piss in a cup because you're a drug addict. And it's not true. But we'll kick a person when they're down to make us feel better. We gotta change that paradigm. We gotta improve the way of life for everybody. We gotta bring about that world of peace, love, harmony, and balance for all people. Only then can we be the ones who light the eighth fire, that bring in that new world. But it's gonna take us, people at top. They don't want it to change. It's working fine for them. So think about that a little bit. Think about how maybe we can work together to bring about this change. Back to you, Winston. My heart to your heart. One heart, one spirit.
Thanks, Ed. Smoke a peace pipe with you anytime, brother. Now, buddy, can you spare a dime? Not really, but here's some Michael K. Minute.
Michael K. here with the Michael K. Minute. Winston, I'm going to try and keep it to 1 minute or so this week. I know you got, is the word aggravated with me? Because I was almost 3 minutes last time, but I don't want to steal too much time from you. But I'm here with Just Joan in Piedmont Park in Atlanta, Georgia, and I got some poems for you. This first one is called What If, and What If, and What If. And I'm screaming because there's wind here and it steals my volume. What if Hunter Thompson had missed? What if Hemingway hadn't kissed the bottom of his shotgun? What if men and women weren't so greedy? What if the seas weren't polluted and the skies weren't full of acid rain? What if your daddy didn't get drunk and hit you after he pushed your mother to the floor again? What if fast food outlets sold food that was good for the poor? What if, and what if, and what if? And this one's called, And God Will Just Continue to Ignore Me. God, don't ignore me. God, please don't ignore me. Don't ignore me. I need a pill for this, and I need a pill for that. When I get to hell, the devil is going to ask for my prescription. This is called Take Almost Everything, and it goes out to Scout, Graham, and William, and my dog Morrison, my kids and my dog. Take my money, take my honey, take my house, take my children, but just don't take my dog away. I've come to depend on him in so many ways. That's Morrison, the one I depend on. Bundy's the one I fight with. All right, I hope I'm talking loud enough to battle the wind here in Piedmont Park, Atlanta, Georgia, Midtown. This last one's called Optimistic Outlook. All this time, I've been killing me. Every sunset takes me closer to the day when I won't see the sunset anymore. No sun here today in Piedmont Park, Atlanta, Georgia, Midtown. Just Joan and Michael K. saying goodbye. Back to you, Winston.
Thanks, Michael. Nice to see you in prime form, man. Hey.
Do you believe in magic? Do you believe in magic?
Thanks, Winston. Hola, hippies. So, Bed Bath & Beyond recalls products due to radioactivity. Tissue paper holders, apparently they're made out of metal. There was some cobalt-60 melted in with this cheap alloy that they make these cheap products out of. What I'm not seeing is any of the other big line of different products that this manufacturer makes with this exact same metal. And where are these products? We just got to remember that it's not only our food supply that is being irradiated in Japan due to the Japanese Fukushima Daiichi nuclear disaster. They've already have video over video of radioactive fish being sold in their markets. The rice, the locusts they're just reporting are radioactive, and they're asking the locals not to eat the bugs. That kind of thing. I can tell you for a fact that there are still factories in the evacuation zone, the mandatory exclusion zones near Fukushima, making electronic parts for your cell phones and your VCRs and your Blu-rays right now. And those are in market as we speak. So we got to pay attention to what's coming down the pike. And if you have a Geiger counter, I advise you use it. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Winston.
Thanks, Magic. I've got some lead line t-shirts coming your way, brother. And this. Prosecutors in Spain have big cojones. After the U.S. threatened Spain last week with sanctions, they continue to move forward on investigating possible war crimes and crimes against humanity perpetrated by the United States down in Guantanamo Bay. A Spanish judge on Friday relaunched an investigation into the alleged torture of detainees held at the U.S. detention center at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, one day after British authorities launched a probe into CIA renditions to Libya. It seems outside of the U.S. there are a few righteous prosecutors who take seriously the laws of the planet. Whether they live to complete their tasks, well, that's another story. Anyway, unlike U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder of the One Percenters Spit Bucket, who answers to any corporate, political, or constitutional crime is, "What you want me to do, boss?" By the way, I've never been to Spain, but I've been to Oklahoma. They tell me I was born there, but I really don't remember. What I do remember is from ponies on the couch to panties breaking out. Here's Hippie Woman.
Thanks, Winston. Are you ready for a little exposure? In Tokyo on Friday, a manhunt ended when police captured a Chinese convict who fled from a Hiroshima penitentiary wearing only his underwear. Police found Lee Gulen, who was serving a 23-year sentence for attempted murder near an elementary school in the southern Japan city on Friday. Lee is suspected of breaking into an apartment to steal clothes after he jumped the prison walls on Wednesday. According to the Japanese media, he also stole a beer while he was there. Police reportedly found DNA on a can that he left behind. Nearly 800 officers had been assigned to the hunt for Lee, who had been jailed for shooting an officer and stealing a squad car in 2005. Lee was sent to the Hiroshima prison in 2008. Speaking of embarrassing situations, did you forget to turn off your cell phone at your last public movie screening? You might want to be a little bit more careful. It's Tuesday night at Lincoln Center's Avery Fisher Hall in New York. During the final movement of Gustav Mahler's Ninth Symphony by the New York Philharmonic, Maestro Alan Gilbert was forced to stop the orchestra due to a disruptive cell phone ringtone coming from the audience. When an iPhone's distinctive marimba ringtone initially went off, Gilbert turned his head to signal his displeasure, but the ringing from the first row persisted and minutes went by. Gilbert asked that the offending noise be turned off and finally stopped the orchestra until it happened. Serves you right, spotlight stealer. UK's Stephanie Noble is the owner of a gorgeous pony named Grey Lady 2. She stumbled upon a streak of bad luck when the stables housing her pony would no longer keep the horse. With no replacement accommodation, Miss Noble wrapped the animal in blankets to protect her against the cold for the night and tried to find alternative lodgings on Christmas Day. After unsuccessful efforts, the animal lover instead decided to clear some furniture and convert part of her sitting room into a stable for the 3-year-old pony. She converted her front room by nailing planks in place to make a pen, bracing the ceiling and using 4 dining room chairs as railings. For now, the pony is content. The neighbors, however, are not. I say let the pony stay. Just make it clear the penalty for horseplay in the house. Until next time, keep your pants on and keep your cell phone off during the performance. Back to you, Winston.
Thanks, Hippie, for that very well orchestrated report. Oh, I hear it's time for our Asshole of the Week, and this week it goes to Anthony Scalia for his writing for the court majority in an 8-1 decision. Justice Anthony Scalia said it wasn't Congress's explicit intention to prohibit arbitration of disputes when it set up rules for arbitrating corporate disputes.
Did you or did you not sign up for a free AT&T telephone? Did you or did you not sign the contract when you signed up for the free telephone? That you had signed away your right to join a class action to sue AT&T for unfair and deceptive practices. Shit, you little non-entity. You're not a corporation. You don't matter. The purpose of this court is to protect the interests of business, and you are a pothole in their smooth road into the future.
I'm no attorney, but the language of the law seems pretty clear. It says that credit repair firms must inform consumers that you do have a right to sue a credit repair organization that violates the Credit Repair Organization Act. Scalia and the court majority interpret this as meaning consumers have a right to be so informed, but not to actually be able to file a lawsuit. Quite a bizarre distinction. With this ruling, it is made even clearer that the Supreme Court of the United States is just steamrolling over the American civil justice system and throwing consumers to the wolves. It is owned by corporations involved in blatant criminal conduct themselves. And for that, you, Justice Anthony Scalia, and your cabal of 1%ers are Worldwide Hippies Assholes of the Week. That's it for this week. Please visit worldwidehippies.com for more original commentary, news, and reporting. And support Worldwide Hippies in any way you can so we can keep up the howl for peace and justice. And you will see the Doc, Ed Croft, Nabru Magic, Michael K, Hippie Woman, and yours truly, Winston Smith, here next Monday.